Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Rich here today, and so as you can see, I'm working on the Mitsubishi Challenger. We kind of had a big bad thing happen. Ryan gave me a call. His radiator blew up on the highway, so I'm just here trying to jimmy rig our new radiator. Unfortunately, in Canada, we cannot get any parts for this. So what's happening is I'm going to have to build something custom, but the reason why the radiator overheated and blew up is one of the belts snapped. So it actually cut charging and stuff. So I just redid the belts on here, and I thought I'd show you how I did it for anyone else that's having to do this on the Mitsubishi Challenger. So let's quickly go over this. First off, you're going to want to remove your radiator. As you can see, there's just those two circles down there, and that's going to be holding on to the radiator. So to get that loose, of course, is you don't touch those. Up here, there's going to be two brackets. You can see the bolts that are right there. One of them sheared off because of an earlier incident before we got the vehicle, but there's a holder here and a holder here. You take those off, and then you have to take the hoses off. As you can see, this hose right here will have a clamp on it, which are those circle ring ones, which is a pinch clamp. So you pinch it with a pair of pliers, remove it back, grab onto here and pull it back. Depending on how old your hoses are, you might want to replace them. Just a warning. Okay, so once you do that, after we've gotten that far, make sure you go down below, you're going to want to go down below, and I'll show you why on the other radiator here. So once you have these brackets, it's actually quite easy what we're going to have to do next. One, you're going to have your radiator here on the very bottom. See how there's tranny fluid? It's because you have a tranny cooler built into the radiator with the Mitsubishi Challenger. So that is going to leak out a bit. So just a warning, you're going to lose tranny fluid. You're going to want to make sure you get some of that. This one hook right here, make sure you move the tube off of it. And then on the bottom here, you're going to notice you have the other pipe on the very bottom. Squeeze it with pliers, move the clip back, and pull that off the bottom. And then of course, if this was in the vehicle, it would be like this. So after you got the top one off, and as you can see, after you've got the top one off, down below here, you're going to have these that are countersunk into those two big round holes, which I'll show you again. Those, like I said, they just lift out. You just got to reef up a little bit. But after you get the tranny ones off and you get this off, then it's just throw a shroud. Now to prepare the shroud to come off, imagine this on the front like this, and you'll see your fan there. You're going to see you actually have a trap door, which goes along here, which is, I don't know if I have the part sitting right here. I don't. But what you do is you bend it up, and it comes right off all the way around. It's super easy to remove, and then it'll actually pull past the fan blade. And then when you're moving this around, you just got to be careful when you're bringing it up. Now, another thing that I'll tell you to do is, this is your intercooler. You're going to see this bolts onto the front of the bumper, or on the front, and then this bolts onto the back. These two bolts. Undo the bolts, take your seat clamps, loosen these two off, and pull it out of there. You want to get this off of the radiator. It'll make your job a heck of a lot easier. Or not the radiator, but get it off the top of the engine here. And then after that's out, then we're at this point where, as you can see, it's out. We're at here. Now to switch belts, you've got two tensioners. I'm going to show you on the top tensioner here what you're going to have to do. You're going to loosen the big bolt, which is on the front. After you've loosened the big bolt, when you tighten this, you're going to see the alternator. It's going to pull the alternator this way, which loosens the tensions on the belts. So that way you get more tension. I went about halfway, and I was able to get it on there. Once you get these loose, then when you go to tighten up the tension, you tighten this up, and then you tighten up the big bolt, and that locks this in. So this is to loosen, and you'll see that this piece will push this way, and then when you go to tighten, you tighten this way. Now, you're going to have a second tensioner, as you can see, right there. Same thing, only the big bolt is on the middle of the pulley. Loosen this pulley bolt a little bit, and then after you do that, you loosen this one, and it'll push it down. And as it pushes it down lower, you'll get more tension for your belts, or less tension, so that way you can move them around. Now the first belt you want to put on is this one. And how you do it is pretty easy. It goes around the three pulleys. You've got one right here, which you'll wrap it around. You can't screw it up. It just goes from this pulley to this pulley to this pulley, and then the second one goes from the same way. It's a double banded, so that way you're double protected. Unfortunately, both of ours failed. So after we've got these on, as you can see, dual pulleyed, they go the exact same route. Don't tighten this one up yet. Get them all loose. So we've got those two on. Yay. Now you're going to go over here, and on that same pulley, on the third track of that bottom pulley, see how there's two, and then there's a third track which is thicker. You're going to put the thicker belt on right there. And then after you put the thicker belt on, you're all ready to go. You're going to tighten up those center bolts a little bit, so that way there's not a lot of slack, and then you're going to tighten up the tensioner bolt and give it tension. Once you feel that there's enough tension, don't tighten them too tight, and you don't want to leave them loose. How you basically know is you want to be able to feel the tension on it, and you still want to be able to push it in a little bit. You don't want it so tight that you can't put anything on it, because that's way too much tension. Once you've done that, just tighten up like I said, just lock in your tensioners by locking in your center bolts, and then there you go. You're ready to go. That does your belt. Now I'm going to show you what I end up doing for jimmy rigging the alternator, and we'll go from there. What we did, and I'll show you here, is we had to go and buy a aftermarket huge alternator, which is gonna, or not alternator, but radiator, and this is gonna be super, well, to say the least, fun to put in. Then the next thing that we're gonna have to put in is a transmission cooler, which is right here. And the reason why is because that was all built into this one, so we're going to have to do them separate. It'll be cooler for off-roading because it'll keep the engine cooler, and plus it'll keep the transmission cooler. And if you break one, well, it's not such a hassle for replacing both of them. And it's always nice keeping them both separate. So I'll show you what I do when I jimmy rig these together. Stay tuned. So what I've got here is the belt numbers that you're going to need. The two long belts are 15385 from Dayco. Again, it might have a different cross. And then we got a Gator back Goodyear for the smaller belt, which is a 7371. So you're going to need two of these ones, which are the longer belts, which are these two right here. And then the smaller belt, which is right there, is the 17371. I don't know what that goes for in Dayco, but yeah. So those are the two different ones. As you can see here, this is the new radiator. We've bought some parts to make it work for now. As you can see here, we bought a coupler, a flex coupler, because this thing is huge. This one is the exact same size as our hoses, but this one's just ridiculously big. And we went to the auto parts store and they didn't have anything for us, so we built our own adapter for now. Again, this is pretty jimmy rig, but it's kind of how this project's going to have to go for now. So the next thing you should do is I'm going to bolt this fan back on, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so as you can see here, this is the new tranny cooler, and this is what we call hella chopped until he gets his new bumper. He's got a new one coming in here, and we cut this part open for now. Of course, we could have unbolted the bumper, but since he's got a new one coming, there's no real reason for us to, do that. And we were actually trying to see about mounting it on this bracket, but we don't want to obstruct the fan or anything like that. So what we've done is we put it up in here. I found the tranny cooler lines, because there's another tranny cooler in here. I guess they just put one in the radiator, and plus they have another tranny cooler on here. And as you can see, there's a bit of antifreeze from when the radiator exploded the other day. Or, well, I guess earlier today. And then, so what's going on is, as you can see, we have one tranny line, which is coming off of here, and one that comes from the car, or from the tranny, I guess, all the way back. So with this one, I'm going to put the one that's coming from the car with the bolt in it on this side, and then the other one, which you see, I've got extra hose that came with the new tranny cooler. I just put it right onto the other tranny cooler pipe, because it goes right there, and it's metal. So I just put it on, I tighten her right down, and then now I'm going to cut that hose to length and put it on that nipple. And that way we've got circulation happening. But yeah, so there's a look at that part. And yeah, now that we've got that figured out, I'm going to finish up and button up this tranny cooler. Again, this is hella chopped. This is something that it's going to change later, but it's just a jimmy rig for now. So so he can commute and do his stuff for work. And these zap straps are just not gonna do. They come with the kit, and they're the stupidest thing I've probably ever seen. Again, maybe there's a better use for them. I don't know. Again, it's not something I would use regularly. So I'm gonna trim these to fit. I'm gonna get this buttoned up, and then I'm gonna work on the radiator, so that way we can start putting fluids back in this puppy. A quick look at our custom little cutout there. Looks kind of weird, but hey, it's an Evo. No. Anyways, as you can see, we even did our custom blackout. You can't even notice it's there anymore, can you? That strap. All we did is not duct tape, electrical tape, both sides. Can't even see it anymore. Ducks right into the grill. So, time to get in the radiator. Redneck, you ready for this to get a little bit more jimmy-rig? Right here is the radiator. It's not going to move because our hoses are so freaking tight on and around it. As you can see, we made our own coupler to bring this over here because our old filler neck was over here. And yeah, Redneck freaking jimmy-rigging right here. And we are almost ready for Ryan to drive for tomorrow. Again, we are going to, be leveling this out at some point. Right now, the reason why it's on a bit of an angle is because we needed it to be like that for our hose that's down below. One, we need to bring it into a radiator shop, and we're going to have to, or bring it into a shop, maybe Tariq's or something, and we'll try on a bunch of different hoses that they have in stock. Because the hose on this side, it's not that it's not long enough, it's just, we want to do it a little bit different, and I want to build a proper mount for this. But first, to build a proper mount, we're going to need time to plan out the mount, and that's not going to happen right now in the state. Like we said, just trying to get this back up and running so Ryan has something to drive to work. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to do the good old V-dub special and everything else special, and that is, what if you don't have something to mount onto? Or if it's only a small hole, use a zap strap. So we're going to zap strap this up. And then after that, we're going to put the intercooler back together up here. And then we're going to put the intake back together over here. And hopefully be done this by like 3 o'clock in the morning. So we can do all the fluids and he can drive to work tomorrow. And oh yeah, I might have to go to work tomorrow. Who knows? I might have the day off. Maybe I'll just be like, eh. Anyways, we'll see. Other than that, things are going good. And block heater plug. Yeah, we'll just get this all ready to go. Once we have the radiator going, I'll make one last video. Alright guys, so as you can see here, we made our mount. We used a bungee cable to hold it in for now. We put a zap straps on the bottom, and then we also did some compressed foam to hold it down over here. We checked, and it's perfect amount of tension, and we've got it's not moving anywhere, that's for sure. And we're just doing our 50/50s of antifreeze right now. Half the bottle with antifreeze, then fill it up with water, give her a couple shakes, leave her for a second, then pour it in. So, let you hear the kitten purr after we're done. Hey guys, so I know I wasn't going to show you, but I am going to show you. We got the engine purring, as you can see. Fixed it up a little bit more. Yeah, we still got, can't really see that down there, but they know what the transmission cooler looks like. But we've had it running, as you can see. Rad's topped up. It's level now, so that way it's going to cycle properly. That gangster lean that we were having and shit, that wasn't going to work, of course. But yeah, no, got some new hoses going on here, and everything's working great. Again, for the new radiator, if your hoses aren't going to work, the best bet is to go grab yourself some universal hoses. They allow you to bend them in different directions and trim them and whatnot. It's the best way to go because it gives you more to play with. Again, we had to do this because, well, we talked to a radiator shop about making a custom radiator, and it was like $1,200, and we're like, yeah, that's not going to work out for us. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video once again.